think about it. You know, and it's great that a lot of her stuff is not missing.
That one's all been written.
If you've got any books that you know you want to follow or anything, you know that I was actually
Today we are in Forest Farm as part of the Cardiff Rangers Wildlife Festival. We've been showing off some of Mary's archive. Mary spent a lot of time in Forest Farm, and so we're talking to the people about how Forest Farm has changed over time, but also capturing people's memories of Mary from when she was here as well. Martin, how did you know Mary Gillham?
In the early 90s I moved to Whitchurch and I had a young family at the time, and when we used to take the children on nature walks, Mary used to lead them. Mary actually set up the Friends of Forest Farm in 1990 with a couple of others, and she was involved all the way through her life, the rest of her life, with Friends of Forest Farm. So she used to come and take us on walks and give us talks and explain to people like me who had no understanding of the subject exactly what things meant. So I've learned a lot over the years, and I used to meet her when she'd be out walking in the reserve. And then unfortunately when she died, out of her will, she bequeathed some money to the Friends to spend on the reserve, to see what we would like to do to increase the biodiversity. Also, she was very much into education for children.
Oh, what can we see? What can we see?
So we set this area up here with the Rangers. So what we've done, we've paid for a number of plants here, but we haven't spent all the money yet. We will spend it over the years as the area develops, and we see what grows and what needs to grow. So get as much as possible, so then we can use it for education in the future, and what Mary was very much into, for young school children.
This area is our bog wetland area, which we created as a memorial for Mary Gillham. So basically what we did is scrape out the whole area, put a membrane inside it, then we collect the water off the roof. Rainwater comes off the roof, filters down into a drainage ditch, collects into a pool behind us where you can see the spearwort is. Then that filters down into the wetland and forms this wet boggy area, which is specialist for wet plants and marshy plants like the irises and water avens, all the sorts of different plants that Mary liked. This is the second year this has been established now, and lots of the plants are beginning to establish, but we will be adding more as we go along. Yeah.
And what sort of wildlife does it attract?
Mostly it's good for pollinating insects, very good for pollinating insects, from bees, bumblebees, through to flower beetles. There's a whole list of pollinators really, but also it's particularly good for dragonflies and damselflies around this area. They hatch out on the pond and on this pond, but they use this area for shelter as well.
So Raj, how did you know Mary Gillham?
Well, I was tasked by the council to help and assist when she was writing a book on the natural history of the Rhymney. So we went around right from the top end of Rhymney right down to the estuary, following the course of the river and looking at the vegetation that was there. So I was, in a sense, very lucky to have Dr. Mary Gillham as my mentor when I was starting off as a ranger in Cardiff, and that's going back in 1995. And I helped her in getting all the stuff, that the subjects that she talks so interestingly in her book. Apart from being a wonderful naturalist, she was also brilliant as an artist. She was sketching them. In fact, she has given me a few of that as a thank you, I think, for being her slave when we were doing the book. I originally came from Nepal. I used to be a naturalist in a national park out there, and so when I came to UK and especially in Cardiff and South Wales, most of the vegetation to me from this northern hemisphere was new. So, it was nice to have somebody like her helping you relearn in my case, all the natural history of this part of the world. Yeah. So I was very lucky in the sense, yeah.